Could Pan-Africanism change the world's geopolitical landscape and lead to an economic revolution in Africa? Or is this just another social movement that is all bark and no bite? One thing is for sure, it certainly has certain special interest groups in the Western world worried, and African investors like ourselves excited. The concept of Pan-Africanism has been around for a century, but it's always been a disjointed movement, and whenever there's been progress made in the past generations, it seemed that the leaders would either sell out to the Western interests or find themselves meeting an untimely death. But this new generation of Pan-Africanism seems to be a little bit different, a lot more business-minded and a lot more sophisticated. Whereas the previous movements were mainly political in nature with abstract goals, the current Pan-African movement has very clear objectives and can be tangibly measured. For instance, Ghana and the Ivory Coast united to negotiate better positions for themselves in the cocoa industry. This is set to add billions to each country's economy annually. Zimbabwe has been unifying with lithium-producing nations to bring thousands of manufacturing jobs to the continent. Nigeria was able to leverage their fellow West African nations to have tariffs taken off over 3,000 exports from Africa to Europe, greatly helping African businesses. I can keep going on, but this is the mindset Africa needed from an investor's point of view. Africa has always been rich in talent and natural resources, but when it came to getting their fair cut, they were often divided and given bad deals. And frankly, it was hard to justify investment in a region where resources and wealth would flow out for pennies on the dollar without value being added. But with regions of Africa starting to unite under a Pan-African mindset, wealth will form in Africa much like a lake forms after a dam is built. And what we are seeing today is Pan-Africanism in its most basic form. What is most exciting about modern Pan-Africanism is where it could be in a few decades. The time to invest in Africa is today. I predict that the next generation of ultra-wealthy billionaires will be those who invest in Africa at this critical point in history and help to build the infrastructure, manufacturing, and power sources. So if you wanted to be part of this movement, where do you start? Throughout the Western world, there are Pan-African conferences where prospective investors can network and learn about the opportunities which exist. I recommend you attend one. But allow me to do a plug for an event we are part of in Washington, D.C. on July 22nd. This is called Experience Africa and is the largest Pan-African event for businessmen in the Western world. This is like a Coachella for African investors. We will have over 15 embassies in attendance, so you can ask questions to the governments directly. You'll meet investors who are looking to fund projects, manufacturing specialists, some people who are just retiring to Africa, and even developers like ourselves. And it's not all business. Experience Africa is going to have every type of African and Caribbean food you could imagine, fashion shows, plenty of time to network, and you'll have a speaker list that includes African celebrities, international businessmen, professors from Oxford, and the Roars team will be part of a panel that will talk about buying your first home in Africa. This event might be life-changing for you, so if you are interested in Africa, I would recommend you attend virtually or in person. As an official partner, you can use our code PRT23 to get a discounted ticket courtesy of the Roars team, and all proceeds from this event are going to support orphanages in Africa. The unification of a region is not a revolutionary idea. This is the concept of the European Union, the United States, and people don't realize this, but China was at one point a disjointed series of kingdoms before they united under a pan-Chinese movement. So I see Pan-Africanism as a no-brainer both socially and for business. But I want to know what you guys think. Do you feel Pan-Africanism is something worth supporting? Could it legitimately change the face of African economics? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, if this video brought value to you, give me a like and a follow. That really helps out my channel. And I'll see you on the next video, or maybe I'll see you in Washington, D.C. at Experience Africa. Take care, guys.